How did you get to be a World Federalist, Bob?
Well, really, what brought me into the movement was my orientation toward trying to respond to human suffering. I'm a psychologist originally, and I worked in hospitals, clinics, and agencies, and private practice, and universities, and all. And I was really drawn into that by seeing if I could have an impact helping people and really relieve suffering. After working with that for about 20 years, I had worked in the prison system for some years and was really struck by how large systems could cause human suffering. So whether it's the prison system or a dysfunctional corporation or two nations in conflict, that we're often trapped in these systems that cause suffering and hurt people. So my career kind of evolved from working one-on-one to going back to school, getting training in organizational development, conflict resolution, and then working on the systems level. And from that work, I found out about World Federation and dealing on the global level. So really for me, the thread that goes through my career is addressing human suffering and trying to do it on as large a scale as possible. And I see having a democratic World Federation as the way to address suffering on a global level.
So in your work as a World Federalist, Bob, is there something satisfying that you get out of this, or do you have any special memories about your work with this movement?
Yeah. Well, for me, other than, of course, the dream of a world that works and supports people, there is the great opportunity that I have to work with all the other dreamers. So all the people that are really, working toward that better world. And as you know, this is a network of folks around the world. So I have friends and colleagues in many, many countries who are working toward the same thing. And that's very exciting and inspiring to me.
That's great. Do you have much hope for the future?
Well, kind of by disposition, I'm an optimist, So if things look like they're going bad, I always assume that it'll come out the other side and be good again. So yes, I do have hope for the future. And really, I heard someone say years ago, you can look at life either through a microscope or through a telescope. And if you look through a microscope, you might see all the bad stuff in any given moment. But if you look through a telescope, you get the bigger picture view. And I do believe, as Martin Luther King said, that the arc of history does bend toward justice.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what it'll take to make this vision happen, Bob?
Oh, geez. I think there's kind of a lot of hard work in many different directions, and with a lot of, kind of luck mixed in, with the circumstances aligning so that things move ahead, if that makes sense.
It does. And do you have any words of encouragement for those who will follow us to bring this to fruition?
Yeah. Well, I think, my mentor once said to me that at some time in your life you have to decide who you're going to be. And, or else you just kind of drift through life. So I've made that decision. I'm a person who is working toward a better future. And I would say to, anyone watching this, that you too need to decide who you're going to be. And if you want to work for a better future, this is certainly one way to do it.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for talking with us today, Bob.
Thank you, Debbie.